The last cooking, we'll start a pot of boiling water. We'll just start that to make some SPAETZLE. We're going to make SPAETZLE in the pan here to serve the goulash over. SPAETZLE is a homemade dumpling. So to make SPAETZLE, we'll need a bowl, a couple of eggs, crack the eggs in the bowl, bring the flour over. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of nutmeg in, a couple of shakes. Just a touch of pepper, very little salt. So we're going to put a little bit of salt in the water here because it'll bring the flavor up. See how it's absorbing all of the egg? We're going to whip it and we're going to beat some of the elasticity out of the flour. And let's see, it needs just a little bit more, so we'll put another quarter cup of flour in. See how it's starting to turn into a nice dough. Let's just put the flour away before I knock it over. Now that's all mixed in. Now you just kind of beat it until it starts to get shiny, and you know that you have starch coming out of the flour. It's going to hold it together for us. See how nice and smooth it got? Just set that aside until the water is boiling. Oops, sorry. Move it up to the front here and turn it on high. Just so we can get a nice rolling boil. Alright, now we're going to continue on with our SPAETZLE here. The water has finally come to a full raging boil. And one of my old bosses taught me how to make this. After you get the SPAETZLE dough made, it's really easy because you just put it on a cutting board, or you can use the back of a lid from a flat pan. As long as you have a nice flat surface. What you do is you take your pie server and you just get it wet. And that's so the dough doesn't stick to it, and you just slice off small pieces of dough. And it's going to turn out similar to pasta, but it'll be a SPAETZLE. See how stringy it is in the water already? Nice and easy. This is not that complicated. We're almost done. Pretty painless. And our cost is almost nothing. It was a little bit of flour and an egg. And we're good to go. Who doesn't have flour and egg in their kitchen at home? Now we'll just let that come back up to a boil. Okay, now that it's boiling, just turn that off for a second, let it sit.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm going to drain the SPAETZLE. I'm going to drain the water out of it. We'll let that drain in the sink for a couple minutes. Run some cold water over it. Cool it off. Shock it so it gets nice and firm. Yes, I will. In just a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to start a frying pan here. We're going to put a little butter in there.
What are we doing the pan for?
We're going to fry up the SPAETZLE and brown it. It adds a little bit more flavor to it. It makes it nice and crisp. You know, SPAETZLE is nice and dry. It's pretty much drip dry. And put it in the frying pan. The trick here is not to move it, so just let it sit. You want it to brown real nice. If you keep stirring it up, it's going to turn into like mashed potatoes and be icky. Well, that's browning. We're going to cut up a little bit of parsley, put it on top. Fresh parsley is always better than dry parsley. It adds way more flavor and tastes so much better. And it doesn't cost that much in the store, 60 cents or 70 cents for a bunch of parsley. No reason not to use it. Okay, you gotta take a look. See if it's starting to brown. Ours isn't browning yet, so I'm gonna let it sit. I moved it just enough to make sure that it wasn't sticking to the bottom of the pan. Nope, we're good yet. Let's see how we're doing here. See how they brown real nice? We're just going to spread that out. Keep that all going. All the butter is absorbed and it's not browning as much, so I'm going to add just a touch more butter around the edge, just because I want it to brown up a little bit more. I like them when they're just nice and crisp on the outside and soft on the inside. I'm going to add a little bit of seasoned salt and a little bit of pepper. And some fresh parsley and we're good to go. Look at that. Doesn't that look marvelous? I'll turn that off.